So in the last two videos we looked at the supervisor spreadsheet and adding a new service to the supervisor. Now what we need to look at is how we can add a new service to the student spreadsheet. So let's do that now. Now this is very simple. All we're going to do is add a new service to here. So here we just click in the question and we add a new option, which is going to be service 3. Now that's all that needs to be done with the student spreadsheet. There is no other additional information that needs to be added. So let's now go to the student service learning spreadsheet. Okay, so what we've got here is our student service spreadsheet, and if we look at the supervisor form now, this is the information that's being pulled in. Now as you can see, we have the new columns that have been come in. So in the last video we created these columns here for service 3 name and date and service 3 unique key, and we also changed the formula for the unique key here. Now that data has actually been pulled in. We need to just double check that the range is right on the import range. Now the range here is A to Z. Okay, so at the moment we're okay, because if we go to the form responses from that spreadsheet, which is the supervisor spreadsheet, and we go to Z, we're well within our range at the moment. We've got several columns before we get there. But as soon as we enter another service, a service 4, those columns are going to be eaten up, and we may need to change this from A to Z to A to the final column that exists in this spreadsheet. And at the moment that column is T, but we're okay up to Z. So we would need to change that if that is the case. So please bear that in mind when you're actually adding a new service. Okay, so the next thing we need to do is we need to go down to our service 2 here. Okay, now this is the information from our service. So what we need to do is duplicate this and create a service 3. So we're going to go to duplicate and we're going to change the name of this to service 3. And then we need to change our formulas. So at the moment it's saying it's searching for where column E, all right, which is this one here, is still equal to A3 from the supervisor email. So let's go to the supervisor email here. All right, and it's pulling in service 2. So we need to add our new service to this sheet. So let's do service 3. I'm going to use the same email here and the same name, and then just add a 3 to service. We also, while we're here, we also need to do the same for the manager email. So let's add a service 3 here. And then I'm just going to copy these down. Obviously they may be different, and on the supervisor one these will definitely be different. There'll be the supervisor from the Service Learning Center. Okay, so service 3 here. So now we're looking at column 4, so we're looking at A4 now rather than A3. So we can go back here and we can change this formula to A4, and the rest of it just can stay the same. Let's change that. So now that's pulled in everything from service 3. There isn't actually anything there at the moment, but we can test that in a second. The last thing we need to do is go back to our Service Learning Supervisor confirmation form and run the Form Ranger add-on so we can add service 3 to it. Okay, so let's go over to add-ons and run Form Ranger. Let's start it. Okay, so we've got here the service partner. What we need to do is go down to number 3, this one here, and then we want to populate from list. We want to create a new list, new values list, and we want to populate it from the student service learning responses, so the student spreadsheet. So let's click on select there. We want the service 3 sheet, and we want to pull in name of student and date of service. And there we go, that's the data that it's going to pull in. So let's go next. Then we need to give this list a value. So we're going to call this S3 name and date, and then save and populate. You can see here now that Lisa Simpson has actually been pulled in. Now remember though, this has been set up so on submit form and every hour. This should update at least every hour and every time the form has been submitted. If not, you can go back to Form Ranger and refresh the questions at any time. So that's what we need to do to the student spreadsheet and form in order to add a new service.